Hi, good afternoon. It's Matt Matthias here, and this is just a short video from you. Now, it's going to be quite interesting, this one, because it's a video that I received from David Wood. Some of you might know who he is. If you don't, it's well worth looking. Now, the video in total is about 21 minutes, but I'm going to stop it at around 18 minutes. And in 18-minute mark, I've got a proposition to give you, and I really would like you to be a part of it. Okay, so here we are then.
I ran into my first mastermind team. That's what we're going to be talking about today, is how to create a mastermind, what a mastermind really is, who you should be masterminding with, and what this concept really means for your business. About 7 years ago, I had the privilege of meeting some people in this industry who still make more money from this industry than anybody that I've ever met since, anybody I've ever met on the internet, anybody that I've really ever met in any industry. I've met some people in network marketing, actually, that make 10, 15, $20 million a year. In fact, I've met people that make more than that a month, and they do it in this industry. And those numbers, well, they're certainly way bigger than most people will ever do. They are possible, and they're possible through the concept of forming mastermind alliances with other people that are really moving in the business world, if you know what you're doing. And so this concept actually comes from Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. It comes from a lot older places than that, but he was the first one to really jot this down on paper as applies to the business world. Now, interestingly enough, this book, Think and Grow Rich, has been recommended that I read by every single seven-figure earner that I've ever met in this industry. Now, I don't know if that's one of those things that's just one of those memes, mind virus that people just pass around, but I don't think so. I think that there's more significance to the fact that every seven-figure earner, not just in network marketing, but that I've ever met in my entire life, has recommended Think and Grow Rich to me at one time or another. And when I finally took the time to heed the advice, and I picked up that book and I read the book, I understand now why they had me read the book, because looking back over the last few months, I just performed, for example, a strategic partnership that was really a mastermind between a couple of people, Jim Chow and Kenny Gregg. That mastermind relationship made me more in a shorter period of time than anything that I've done in this industry ever. And in fact, about a month before I formed another strategic partnership, people were wondering, how did you make money so quick when you got online? Well, what I did when I got online was I started seeking down and hunting down people that made way more money than I did. And what I did was I kind of got them on the phone, I got them on interviews, I connected with them, I started building relationships with them, I started just kind of asking them questions and listening, but more than that, just being a friend, being somebody who would be a valuable asset to what they're doing, giving more than I was taking. And what happened was I got some opportunities because of that allowed me to get in an environment where I could add value to a tremendous amount of people. Now, had I not aligned myself with the values and the minds of other business people, I could not have done those big numbers so fast just through marketing. It would have been impossible. It wouldn't have mattered if I had a $20,000 a month pay-per-click budget. I still couldn't have done it. I did it by aligning myself strategically with people that are incredible movers in the business world. So, going on just a little bit here, I want to talk just real briefly about what a mastermind is, kind of the history behind this concept. Just if you look back through history, it's fascinating. And I think this is funny because it can be taken in a few different ways, but every time anything big has ever been done at any level in the business world, in any type of social arena where people are involved, anything that's been done in the religious world has been created by the power of a group of 10, 12, 15 people that have been aligned 100% in their values and were strategically partnered in a way where they were totally unified in everything that they did. And all these mastermind organizations, they operated differently, they all had different goals, but the fact is that everything great, everything significant, every country that was born, every city that ever did great things, every business that ever reached $1 billion in sales, every network marketing organization that ever produced a seven-figure earner, they were all formed out of a mastermind team. I mean, I could give it a couple of examples. Look at the Christian religion. You got Jesus Christ, and he's got his 12 apostles. And after Jesus died, the 12 apostles are what spread the gospel all over the world. You've got every major world religion. Buddha had his disciples, and he had his disciples, and after Buddha died, it wasn't Buddha that spread his teachings to the four corners of the earth. It was his disciples that took it. But that was just in the religious world. You could take a look at the United States of America, for example. The United States, it wasn't formed by the popular vote of hundreds of thousands of people. That's not how the United States was formed. We look back and we say, we all agreed to, make this country. But the fact is there was a tiny group of radical Americans that got together and they put their minds down and they would not leave that room until 100% of them agreed on everything that was in the Constitution. They are the ones that formed America, not America. America didn't do it. It was a group of like 15, 20, 30 people. I don't even know how many, but it was a tiny, tiny, tiny group of people if you look back through history. Going back into the business world, I've got friends who have created organizations of 500,000 people, and they didn't do it by masterminding with 500,000 people. That would be impossible. If you look at those teams of people that put together those organizations, those masses of people, it was tiny groups of people that got together and said, let's do something huge. And they talked about it. They discussed it. They threw ideas back and forth. They got them on paper until they were in total alignment. And then they worked like crazy to put it together. Now, the problem with creating mastermind groups that actually work in network marketing comes from misunderstanding. A lot of times when we get out in front of a room, or when we're drawing the circles on the internet, or when we're giving a presentation, or when we're sending people to a slideshow to go, take a look at what we're doing in our company, we tell people things that at the time they seem like they're true, but they're kind of misconceptions. For example, there's the famous 5x5, the power of 5 chart that's come out with ages ago in this industry that does more for misunderstanding, but does a lot more for hype than anything else that's been done. And basically what it says is the way to be successful in network marketing is so easy. Can you just get 5 people? Because if you could just get 5 people, those 5 will just get 5, and those 5 will just get 5, and those 5 will get 5, and those 5 will get 5, and then 12 months from now, you've got 48 billion people in your group. Well, you know what? That never has worked. And it'll never, ever, ever work. That is not what a mastermind is. And you got to ask yourself the question, are you babysitting your downline, or are you masterminding with your leaders? There's a big, big, dramatic difference between the two. Babysitting your downline is not the same thing as masterminding. Look, if you sponsor 5 people in your team, and you expect those 5 people to go to work, and you go out and you go to their house and you call them up on the phone and you say, hey, what did you do today? And they go and they do something, and then you call them back and you say, all right, did you get that done? Now here's what you do next. If you're babysitting and chasing people around and chasing people back and just desperately hoping that 5 people are going to make you rich in network marketing, if you're hoping that 5 prospects are going to join your business when you only have 5 prospects on your leads list, that's not forming a mastermind. That is babysitting people in your team, and there's a huge difference. So what is a mastermind? Well, let me talk about the simple reality of multi-level marketing. And I've drawn this out in other presentations, but I want to bring it back again because this is the simple reality of multi-level marketing. It doesn't really matter what company you're in, these numbers still hold true. Now, even though these numbers are true, what company you're in does matter. If you're building an organization in a company, for example, with really low retention, you're going to find a really frustrating time getting these numbers to produce the kind of income that top earners do in this industry. If you have a company with really good retention, you can find this happening at an accelerated rate. However, the numbers are still the numbers. It's a metric of math, nothing more. And this is the case. If you in your business sponsor 30 people into your business, not 5, but 30, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have about a third of the people you sponsor who do something. You're going to have a third who do nothing at all. Ever. They won't ever do anything. They won't ever sponsor anybody. They come in with the great intentions. They tell you they've made $5 million a month in other companies. They tell you that you're going to be so rich from what I do that you're not going to have to do anything. You're going to go lay on a beach for the rest of your life and make $400,000 a month because I'm the one you've been looking for. Please, if you'll just help me, I'll do it. And sometimes they even say things like, if you'll just pay for me to join, I'm going to be the one that is the up-and-coming person in your organization who's just going to take off. And you're going to live this unimaginative, you don't even need to have an imagination anymore because I'm going to make you so much money if you'll just pay for me to sign up, pay the $297 fee, right? That doesn't happen. Those people do, a third do nothing. That's the way that it is, and there's no fighting it. There's no moving against it. It's just the way that it is. Now, you might sponsor 20 and have 20 take action, but then the next 10 you sponsor might take no action. You might take 40, sponsor 40 at once, and then they all do something. You might sponsor 20 at once, and then they all do nothing. But you know what? You can't tell. The simple reality is a third do nothing. A third will do something, and a third will wait. All right? And what are they waiting for? They're waiting for you to have success. And when you have success, you'll be able to move 2/3 of your organization that you personally bring in to at least some level of activity, whether it's sponsoring 1 or sponsoring 2 or sponsoring 5. Some of the 10 who originally come in when you start building an organization, if you get 30 this month, you'll have one of those guys who just goes out and he runs with it, and 3 of those people will actually take quite a lot of action. So once again, here's the numbers. You get 30, you're going to get 10 to take some action. You're going to get 3 to take a little bit more action. You're going to get 1 who is a rock star. You're going to get 1 who sees the vision. You're going to get 1 who stays up all day and night thinking about his dream and thinking about bringing his wife home from work and thinking about what life's going to be like when he has a passive residual income that stretches around the world through the influences of hundreds of thousands of people. You're going to get 1 who catches the big picture, but not only catches the big picture, he sticks with it. You're going to get 1 who calls you up on the phone and he doesn't ask you stupid technical questions like, yeah, how do I set up my blog? He says, all right, I've got my blog up and running. I've written 15 articles. I've done a pay-per-click campaign, and I've got things moving. And you know what? I'm starting to get leads trickle in, but I just don't understand why I'm not getting as many leads as I could. I only got 20 leads today. You're going to get 1 who just takes off and he gets it and he wants to be it. Who do you mastermind with? You mastermind with the 1. That's the mover in your organization. You got to mastermind with the movers, which is law number 1. Now, there are actually 3 other laws to masterminding that I'm not going to get into in this presentation, but mastermind with the movers. Mastermind with the movers. And you know what you do with the other people? Now, this is the key to building large organizations. This is the key to time management, is you work in group settings, okay? You mastermind with the movers, and then you work with everyone else in group settings, and it's the way that it has to be. It's the way that it has to be because you're a leader in your business. You're somebody who's gone through this 8-day boot camp. You're somebody who's out there making things happen. You're writing articles. You're making videos. You know what? You don't have time to work. If you've got an organization of 3,000 people, you know how many people you're going to have in that organization that are going to be real movers? It's about 30, 40, something like that, maybe 90. You don't have time to mastermind with the 90. You got to go back and look at the 5 or 10 or 15 people that are the biggest movers in your organization. It's the people that are closest to you and your business that are going to determine your greatest level of results. Let me show you what's possible when you create a mastermind organization. This house here is the result of one of my friends in this industry, somebody I've met in this industry that's made more money than anybody that I've ever met in my life. This gentleman here, this house is a $25 million home. And most people who have $25 million homes like that make several $1 million a year, and they have these ridiculous mortgages that are like $20,000 a month. There's actually people that will do things like that. Not this guy. This guy paid cash for this home. He paid $25 million in cash for everything that was in it. And how was he able to do this? Well, about 30 years ago, he got involved with this industry of network marketing in an old school company that we all know the name of if I dropped it. And what he did was he created a massive organization. He took the top 20 people in his organization when he had a ton of people having success, and he formed a roundtable mastermind team with those people. And those people, that strategic alignment, has created an organization that does over $1 billion a year in sales and has more than a half million people just in the United States. One of the most phenomenal people in the world at leadership, because leaders understand that they've got to connect with their other leaders, but more so, you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you've got to understand that to form a mastermind, you have to be in a mastermind. To bring people into something greater than yourself, you have to be a part of something greater than yourself. You've got to reach up to reach down. You've got to find somebody and connect somebody with somebody. And you've got to be on their radar. Now, This is the first point that I want to get across for forming a mastermind, is that you've got to align yourself. And people who are movers, people who are shakers, they won't baby you, they won't call you up, and they won't see how you're doing, and they won't kind of chase after you and to try to get you to be a part of their team. You've got to hunt these people down, and you've got to call them. You might have to call them 2 or 3 times. You might have to send them an email and connect with them on Facebook and send them a postcard and say, look, I want to work with you. I want to be a part of what you're doing. And it might seem like they're brushing you off at first, and they're not brushing you off. They just have to be careful of their time. They just want to make sure that they're working with people who are moving and shaking. And you've got to connect in with these people and find out what they know, because I promise you, they do know things that either they're not aware, they're not telling you, or they know things that they're not telling you on purpose because you're not a part of their inner circle, okay? And you've got to do that. You've got to form your own strategic alliances in this industry, and you've got to associate with those people. You know, I got a phone call a little while ago from a guy in my team, and I actually do take the time to help people in my team, but my team usually understands that I'm very busy and that I do things.
Okay, I've just stopped it there because it just goes into a bit of a sales spin, but there's some very, very, very interesting things there, isn't it? I'm actually now looking for a mastermind team. I'm looking for a mastermind team for Stiff Up. If you don't know what Stiff Up is yet, you look at the side here. There's a small advert. There's a link below this video as well. Click on it. Take the tour, listen to the audio. Now, this business is going to be huge, and if you're willing to work over 24 months, I guarantee you will make a hefty residual income. I'm looking at the house there at the moment, thinking of residential, isn't it? But why do I think that Stiff Up will actually be a business that you can actually build a residual income? Well, on average, the average person who comes into network marketing recruits 2.7 people. Now, as you've seen at the beginning, these 5 times 5 matrices, they don't work because obviously the majority of people don't recruit 5. Stiff Up, on the other hand, is a 2 times 2 matrix. So the average person coming in can actually recruit 2, get success, get money. Now, the other thing that was interesting from the video here was the fact that you've got to recruit 30 to get 10. Out of that 10, you'll have 3 that will work it, and then you'll get 1 that will really go and be a star. Now, to make the figures work, you've got to be in something like Empower Network, where you get 100% commissions. Okay, so if people fall out, you're getting money coming in regularly. Or you've got to be in a company that has a very high rate of people sticking with the company. In one of my previous videos, I showed that out of 23 people that signed up, 20 people are still paying their monthly subscriptions. Now, you're probably looking at this as well and thinking to yourself, well, Matt, I'm not interested in getting involved in another opportunity. I'm happy with Empower Network. I'm happy with my primary business. Well, Stiff Up is not a business that will compete with your other businesses. It's a bit like Empower Network. It's there to help you build your business. Now, a couple of things that cropped up as well was the fact that you spend your time and you mastermind with the people that are actually working, your superstars. That doesn't mean that you forget everybody else, because you've got to keep on and you've got to help, you've got to train, but you don't do that individually. You do that on a group basis. And this is where Stiff Up comes and helps slightly because the tools that StiffUp has, for example, we have our own webinar platform that you can actually use and hold group webinars. Now that, if you wanted it, would probably cost you about $100 a month. Okay, you're getting that for $9 a month. Also, just similar to Empower Network, where you can actually phone in and listen to live calls, you can actually have that as well with StiffUp, and that's included in your $9 a month. Also, what's included in your $9 a month is a contact manager. To be honest with you, there's too much that I can't mention it all. So if you want to mastermind with me, click on the link below, take the tour, and hopefully I'll be able to have a chat with you in a short while. Hope you like the video. There's a lot of information in there. Good night.